Assalamualaikum, sir.
Ji walaikum assalam.
How are you, sir?
I am Superman.
MashaAllah. That's what you are, MashaAllah. Okay, so tell us something about your teaching profession. How's it going, and how's your training are going on nowadays?
They're doing pretty well. There are lots of people who sign up for the workshops that I offer
All right.
in speaking.
Okay.
And then there are so many companies who want their employees to be trained because sadly the schools and colleges don't teach people how to speak.
Yeah.
So they become professionals, marketeers and accountants and bankers and IT professionals, but they have problem expressing themselves.
Yeah.
So I coach individuals and also, companies.
All right. So do you do this physically, or also providing some online services for that?
No, we do both. We do online services as well as in person.
All right.
In person people can only come from Lahore. But when we do it online, I have people from UK and America and Karachi and Lahore and Multan and anybody who can't travel who wants to sign up, they do an online course.
All right.
But there are courses which are in person as well.
And what do you think? Which course is more productive? Like, if you're conducting, is there any difference between online and in-campus in-person classes?
It's very different. It's very different. I would say online you can only take away like 20-30% of the essence. Because human beings are designed to meet in person. There's so much that we communicate through our body language and expression, a vibe and all of that. And of course, groups are much more fun. But if people can't travel, somebody's in Karachi or in Saudi Arab or wherever they are, and they can't, then should they miss out on the opportunity entirely? No, they sign up for online and then they get something. They get something.
All right. So when you came into this profession, the teaching profession and the training side, so initially you were providing trainings for acting, and then you started providing for the public speaking, for communication skills, and now I believe so you are more focusing on the communication. And why so?
I don't know. There are some things which just evolve. People change. I also changed. I kind of evolved. Not saying in a good way, could be in a bad way. But I enjoy teaching people how to speak. And if there was one thing that my family thought that I could never do, they still believe I can't teach speaking. So I worked very hard and I saw there was a need for this. People just didn't understand how speaking and communication works. And then I kind of, made a combination of the acting course and the speaking course. And there are so many that we borrow from each other. Everybody's an actor. Everyone is an actor. We act differently at different times. So I thought, why not, link these two together. And I did that and it's worked pretty well. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
People may not enjoy it. I enjoy it.
All right. And just as you said, this is the real need of the people to learn the speaking. And secondly, you said everybody's an actor. Same as, sir, everybody's also a speaker. And everybody believes like they are already speaking. So what is the need to learn speaking?
Okay, I don't think everybody is a speaker. And people who sign up for, my workshops certainly believe that they're not natural speakers.
All right.
I think there are very few people who have the knack for speaking. It is a skill, like typing or swimming or cycling. You have to learn it. And the more effort you put in, the more science you study, the more exercises that you do, you become better and better. And suddenly you realize that it's not a thing that you're born with, like sneezing, for instance. We can all sneeze, nobody teaches us that. But speaking is not that thing.
Right.
Especially when you get to a certain position, let's say professionally, where you are talking to, board members, your team members, your colleagues. Suddenly you realize you don't have the tools, the skill set. So much of my training is about that.
All right, great. So when in usually, like we usually see that people are offering communication classes, and the most common one is the spoken English. So which language do you prefer? So shall we consider, if somebody wants to improve the Urdu language, the delivery of Urdu sentences and the word vocabulary a lot and all. So what do you think? Can we also consider like Urdu spoken classes or spoken English classes? This communication, like, is there any relationship with the language or not?
Okay, no, there isn't. When people offer spoken English classes, they're teaching a subject.
All right.
The subject is English. That's what they're teaching.
All right.
But in my sessions, people have given talks in Punjabi, in Farsi, in English, in Urdu. So there's no preference for a language. There's no preference for a language. If you want to improve a language, that's great. Good luck with that. But how do you improve the ability, how do you improve your skill to stand in front of a group or face a camera or be a part of a webinar and speak well, speak coherently, speak in a way which is articulate, speak in a way where people are emotionally moved by the way you're talking. How do you speak in a way when you start speaking, everything stops and everyone listens? What is that thing or things? So we try and explore that in each person, whether it's in Urdu or in English or in their regional language. That's their choice.
Alright, just as you mentioned, students are also participating who can speak Farsi only. So do you understand Farsi?
No, I'm not saying they speak Farsi only. One of my students gave a talk in Farsi, which was very romantic for us. We couldn't understand what he was saying, but it was a romantic thing for us. So he's not a all Farsi speaking student, of course, but usko shauk tha, to usne Farsi mein kaha. So what I'm saying is, we don't want people to feel curtailed that there's certain language that we need to follow. That's not true. They can speak in whichever language they choose to speak in.
Alright. So what do you think, sir, what is the exact importance of English language in Pakistan?
What's the importance?
Yeah.
I think whatever the importance is, it's English is important. English is important. Any language is also important. If you speak really good Urdu in your workplace, people will respect you. If you speak any language well, people will respect you. Of course, there are times when you have foreigners, or board of directors who only speak English. That's fine. What would happen if I spoke really good Urdu and I was very competent and I spoke so English? What would happen then? Would the people think that I'm incompetent? No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. Should I be embarrassed of it? Absolutely not. Should I improve my English? Sure. Not just English, everything. We should improve everything.
If somebody believes that he wants to improve Urdu, so Urdu is not evolving. So eventually we have to take support from English, from other languages.
Urdu is perhaps the only language, or certainly one of the few languages which is extremely accommodating of other languages. No other language is so accommodating. Urdu is very common because Urdu in itself is a combination of languages. By nature, Urdu is a combination of Farsi, Turkish, Hindi, Sanskrit, and of course some of its own. So Urdu is an extremely open-hearted language. So to think that Urdu is not evolving, I think that's not true.
Yeah, I mean the literal meaning of Urdu is also the combination Lashkar.
Correct.
Correct. All right. So if somebody is going to learn a new language, let's suppose, so what do you think? What should be the duration that a person should spend on learning a new language?
Forever.
Okay. So, but still, people believe like they have spent 6 months, 2 months, so it means like that's in vain. It's a lifelong process that they should be working.
That's not in vain. Learning a language is like learning a craft or a skill. How long do you need to learn? Forever. When will you stop improving? Never. Never. The more work you put in, the more progress will get made. When do you want to stop? Whenever you want. What happens when you stop? You start regressing. You start regressing. I know of a person who has a master's in French, okay, and lived in France for around 6 years, and then left France and speaking French. In a couple of years, or 3, 4, 5 years, they had no idea about the language. Of course, it will come back to that person very soon, but how long do you need to learn? Forever.
All right. So one last question. What do you think were the most important skills that a student must have before he leaves his university, or university should be focusing on those, might be? So what are those skills that you believe everybody should have that?
Okay, all the skills that I think a student should have when they leave university or college is people skills, for instance. To be able to communicate well, for instance, to be able to write well, for instance, to be able to lead a group effectively, to be an inspirer, to be an inspiration for people, to be a good follower. How to be a good follower? That's one. How to buy property? What do I look for when I buy a property? They don't teach that in
true.
Money management. How do you manage money? That's important. Why are values important? We should speak the truth and we should be honest. Why? Because it's a good thing. Any other reason? So they don't teach any of these. Work ethics, for instance. How to be on time, for instance. How exams and marks don't matter in life. Not at all. So these are all the things that they don't teach in universities, and youngsters should know that.
Wonderful, sir. This is exactly like, if we put it in a nutshell, so these are the skills which we really need in the workplace as well. So thank you so very much for your time.
My pleasure.
And as always, even I learn a lot from you.
Excellent. Well done. I learn a lot from you.